So the Christians commonly take 1 John 2:10 out of context. They think that since we don't have to live by the law, any law, they think that we're completely free from all type of law, that they can't sin. When in reality, we're told many times by Yeshua, if you love me, keep my commandments, right? Many times throughout the Bible, many different ways that he says this. But they throw out the entire Old Testament and only follow the New Testament, which is insane. But even throughout the New Testament, it says to keep my commandments. So I was going back and forth with this Christian and basically said, do you keep the 10 Commandments? He said, we don't have to. I said, yes, we do. Here's why, blah, blah, blah. Gave him the whole spiel. And he asks me, well, do you sin? And I said, we all sin, right? We all do sin eventually. And he goes, and I sent him Hebrews, right? But you don't sin willfully, but sometimes you stumble, right? That's what I said. I said, I do not sin willfully, but I do occasionally stumble in my thoughts, and I have to rebuke myself sharply. And he sends me 1 John 2:10. 1 John 2:10 says, he that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him. He sent me this and says, oh, well, you must not be of the Messiah, like you must not be full of the light and blah, 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 right? This verse is not talking about that you'll never stumble with sin. This is talking about the stumbling stone, the rock of offense. And it's actually bizarre that people don't see this. So there is none occasion of stumbling in him. So let's go to 1 Peter 2:7. Unto therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which he be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto they were also appointed. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praise of him who hath called you out of darkness into the marvelous light. So this stone of stumbling, a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient. So there's this group of people that stumble at the stumbling rock. So if we go to Isaiah 8, this will prove to you what the stumbling stone is. One sec. So, verse 14. Oh, I'll start in 13. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense to both the house of Israel, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall, and be broken and snared, and be taken. So this is Yeshua. Yeshua is the stumbling stone, and he's the rock of offense. Sorry, distraction. But 1 Peter 2:8, to those who are disobedient, they stumble because they don't understand that we actually have to keep the commandments. So they stumble on the testimony of Yeshua. And we know that Yeshua came to refresh the covenant. That's what we're told, to refresh the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments were never done away with. Sacrificial law was done away with. Sacrificial law was added after Mount Horeb, right? And they said, well, do all the things that you desire at Mount Horeb. All that the Lord desires, we will do. So after their disobedience, sacrificial law was added. But when Yeshua comes and dies, we're able to remarry into covenant. A covenant is when two people keep both the sides of an agreement. Yeshua's agreement and Jehovah's agreement is that we'll receive eternal life and we'll get to be a daughter and a son. Our agreement is that we keep the 10 Commandments and are obedient to him and follow the Lamb wherever he goes. This is a covenant. Just like my husband and I, we made vows to one another. We made promises to one another. And if one of them breaks them, then depending on which one is broken, the marriage covenant is broken, right? If I say I'm not going to cheat and I cheat, the marriage bed is defiled. So when you go and you do idolatry and you don't keep the commandments, you're continuously cheating on God and your covenant with him is broken. You stumble, so you become completely disobedient. If you love me, keep my commandments. It's really plainly written. Matthew 19, how do I enter into eternal life? Keep my commandments. And he even goes to say, well, which one? And he listed them. And he says, oh, okay, well, leave everything that you have and follow me. But he couldn't do it. We are supposed to keep the 10 Commandments. People just stumble at the stumbling stone and the rock of offense.